I'm Vishal Rajput, and in this video, we are going to build GitHub profile wrapper. So what is this GitHub profile wrapper or any social media profile wrapper works? So basically, if you see here, this is my Octo profile, which is official octoprofile.versal.app. So if I write my username here, this is my GitHub username, and I press enter, then it will show all my GitHub information. So what is my username, what is my name, my company or college, my location, how many followers I have, how many repository, and they also check what is the top language, most stars per language, and they also talk about like what are my repos. Okay, this is my project that I have built. So we can sorted my project with the basis of like how many stars I have, how many forks I have. So if you see, this repo have a 1200 stars, so it is as number 1, then this is 14, then this 6. So we can sort it in this way. So we are going to build this, and while building this project, we are going to learn so much things. So we are going to learn what is asynchronous programming, what is fetch API, what is this promise, how to resolve promises, what is this then catch, how to use that, what is async await. So much things we are going to learn in a single video. So this video is a part of my front-end development essential series, in which I have already covered complete HTML, CSS, Flexbox, Grid, complete JavaScript basics, and then we have complete DOM. I have already made 2 projects. One is our Google Keep clone, and second one is our game. So if you haven't checked that out, do check that out playlist too. So now let's get to this project. Hello everyone. So till now what I have done is I have created a GitHub wrapper project, and in that directory I have created 3 empty files, one HTML, one CSS, and one JavaScript file. So now what we are gonna do is, the first of all, let me just make our content. How do we do that? So first of all, this is my boilerplate, and here I will give a title for my website, that is GitHub profile wrapper, and then I will come here. So let me just post go live. So now this is our empty website till now. So what I am gonna do is, let me just first create a container, and in that container I will have one main, and in that main I will what are the things required for creating that application that I have shown you earlier is that input button, where the input box where we need the username, and the second is button. On clicking in that button, we need the all profile info. So I will take, first of all, let me just give a heading. So GitHub profile wrapper. Okay, and we can write a paragraph also, like get all your information, something like that. But for now I will just take an input, and in that input I will give an ID, username, and I want to give a placeholder as well. I will give a placeholder, and placeholder will be write your GitHub username, or I can say GitHub username. GitHub username. Now I need a button. On clicking on that button, my profile info should shown to me. So I will say button, and I will give some ID, so details. Okay, and I will write so details here. So if I save this, so you will see I have created this heading, and then we have this input where we will writing our input, and then if on clicking on this show button, our profile should shown to us. So now where it should be shown, so let me create an empty div for that. I will say profile info. So inside this profile info, our data should be shown to us. So now HTML file work is done. Now what we are gonna do is linking our HTML file with our JavaScript file. So how to link that? Let me just create using a script tag. Okay, so I have to write my file name, that is GitHub wrapper.js. So for now I will first of all build the logic of our JavaScript, and once JavaScript is done, then we will move to designing part. Or if you want to move you want to design your app by your own, so you can do it by your own too. So GitHub wrapper.css. So now let's jump to JS file and build the logic of this app. So first of all, I will console.log, and I will see that if my app is if my JavaScript file is linked with our HTML file successfully or not. So I will write GitHub wrapper. And let me just open my console. For opening my console, I have to click a right click and then click on this inspect, and I will get this console. So here all is everything. We can write our JavaScript here also, but we will write here and show all the result here. Okay, so now what is the first thing that I need? So if you see here is I have to write my username here, and then I will click on this show detail button. Okay, so what I am gonna do here is if I come here, I need that username. For that username, I need that input. So how to take that input? I will say const username input, username input, and how to take that using document dot get id. I have given a specific id, and what is the id? I say not so detail. I have given username id. Now after this username, I got this input. Okay, so now what I will say is I got the username. Now let me just do this, and now I need that button also. So for button, I will say const so details button, and I will say document dot get id, and what is the id name? So details. Okay, so now the thing is how do I name this variable? Says basically this is the id, and this is the tag, HTML tag input. This is the id, so detail, and this is the, so this is the way I write the good name of variable, so that it I can understand what is this variable do. So now for what happen is if I write my username here, let's say Vishal Rajvan. So now after writing this, when I click on this show button, so something should be shown to me. So for that, I have to create an event on this button. How to create an event? I have already tell you. So I have to first of all write the button or any element selector where I have to put the event. So right now I have to put on this button. So this is the button. I will say dot add event to this button. So add event listener. And now which event I have to add? I have to add click event. And now once you click on that event, click on that button or anything, what will be happen? That thing I have to write here. So I have to write listener here. So let me just write a function name. Okay, so profile, something like that. Okay, or let me just write a arrow function. So I can do anything. I can write a function or I can write an arrow function. So in that arrow function, what I will do first of all? So first of all, let me just console.log what is my username. Okay, so I will say user name input. So what is this username input? This is the complete input box that we have selected. So if I just do a show detail, so you will find this is a complete input box. Do we need that? No, we need the value inside that input box. So how to get that value? We will say const our username equals to our user input dot value. Okay, this is the thing. Now if I put my console username, now what will be shown to me? The value inside that input box. So whatever I am writing here and click on this show detail, so it will show the value. I hope this makes clear to you. So now this is gone. Now what we have to do is rather than just showing through here, I have to fetch my data from GitHub server. Into my website. So how to do that? So basically what I have to do is I have to request from GitHub servers to give me the data of this username. Okay, so I have to request the data from server. So how to do that? For doing this, we use fetch API. So here what does this fetch mean? Okay, basically this fetch is helping us to request and response, getting a request and response from the server. So basically if whatever we want from a different server or network, for that we use the fetch API. So basically how to do that, let's understand. So I have to write fetch, and inside that fetch I have to write the URL from where I have to fetch the data. Let's say for this GitHub I will write https api.github.com. So from this server, from this URL, I have to fetch the data. Okay, and what does this show? I will say that user. Okay, this GitHub has so many users, and from this user I need that username. So how to find that? I will say user name. Okay, so let me just use this with the help of our string literal. Okay, so if I write in this way, so this will return something. So let me just do a console log to explain you what this fetch going to return. So I am going to do console.log. Okay, so if I write here Vishal, my username, and if I click on this show detail, what is this promise? We haven't understand what is this promise. We haven't seen till now that what this promises is. So now let's understand what is promises. So you have understand what is promises in real life. Okay, so you promise someone like I will do this homework. You promise yourself I will complete this homework by today itself. Okay, so what will happen whenever you do promise to someone or yourself or anyone? There will be two scenarios. You will complete that promises. Okay, if you say that you will complete the homework, then you will complete it by today, or it may be possible that you will not. So promises can have two things. It can be resolved, or it can be fulfilled, or it can be rejected. Okay, you did not able to provide keep your promises. Okay, so two things can be possible for promises. It can be resolved, it can be rejected. Okay, and third case can be, what will the third case? Let's say I am saying I will complete this work by the end of this month. Okay, so what is the current state of my promise? Is it rejected? Not. Is it resolved? Not. So it's right now pending. It is right now pending because there is not like I have promises at the end of month, but right now it's not end of month. So this is called, it is current state pending. So these are the three states that can be happen for promises. So now let's understand how to make these promises in real world. So basically what we have to do is we say new promise, and inside that promise we have to write our two things. The first thing is our resolve, and second thing is our reject. We have to write both of them. So I am saying resolve and reject. Okay, so now this will do something. These promises have this function. So inside that I have to write my logic, and this promises, let's say I am taking my const p is equals to promise. Okay, so now inside this I am writing my logic. Let's say const x is equals to 1 plus 1. So if this 1 plus 1 is 2, if this x equals to 2, then do something. Then I can say this is right. If this is right, then call your resolve with some message, let's say success. Okay, you are successful. Else what you will do, if I am not able to keep my promise, then you will say reject. Okay, I am giving you very simple how to use promises, very simple this, and we are going to understand the real use case in the fetch. Okay, so let me just help you to how to do basic structure. Okay, so reject, I am saying failed, you are failed, and your promise, you failed to keep your promise. So now what will happen? So if I go to .p.then, so now let's understand what this .then and .catch will do. So basically this is my promises, and with this promises two cases can be happen. Either it is resolved or it is rejected. Okay, so what I am saying is, if my promise is resolved, if it is resolved, then it will be run the code. If it is resolved, then it will run the code inside that then. Okay, and if it is not, then we will see what will happen. For now what we are saying is, if p is resolved, then what you have to do is you have to console.log. You have to console, let's say this will give me something, or let's say data. So I will say console.log that data. Okay, so let me just say here. So what will happen here is, so this promises will return us this data. Okay, and whatever it is returning the message, and if I console log this, and you see, sorry, if I click on this, So it will show this promises and this is a success. Okay, forget about this. Let me just do one thing. Rather than writing this thing here, let me just writing this thing outside this, so that I do not have to call this fetch API. Okay, or either. So now let's understand this promises, how it's work. So if I save this, it's saying success. Success means when this is executed, this certain condition is fulfilled, then it will say, yeah, this is working fine, then it's called resolve. But let's say if I write it 5, then what will happen? It say uncaused in promises failed. This is a message that I am getting. So rather than getting this way, what I can say is, I can say dot catch. I can use here dot catch, and inside that dot catch I can write the message. I can write the message like this. I have some error and I will say console.log my error. Okay, let me just make it little above. So it's a failed. Okay, rather than showing in my red color and in that I'm handling this error. So this is the best case, like we are using then and catch, so that we not fulfill like so what we can do here is, if we are requesting a data from, let's say, server, okay, it may be possible that it shows data. If this data is we will get the data from server, then we will show into our website. But if it is not coming from the server, in that case, rather than failing our website, we can show something else. Okay, so for that we use this catch. Okay, for that this catch is used. So I can write here is so then will be executed. Okay, executed when promise resolve, when promise resolve. Otherwise catch will be executed. Catch will be executed. Okay, I hope you understand the thing, that how this promises work and how to manage this promises, how to use this then and how to use this catch. I hope this clear for now. So now let's understand how to use this in real life. Okay, so basically how to use this. So let me just, for now, let me just comment it out and let's understand how to use this fetch. Sorry, let me just remove this console.log. So if you see that this fetch API is returning what it's returned. It returns a promise, and whenever a promise is written, what we have to do, it can do a resolve or reject. So what I am doing is, I am saying dot then. Okay, or I can write it like in this way, dot then. Just a second, dot then. So what is returning from this? Whatever is returning, whatever is the result, just console.log, so I can find what is the result. Okay, so let me just find it. So if I am writing Vishal, my username, and if I click on this show detail button, so it will showing me this response. I am consoling this response. So what this response shows to us, let's understand this. So inside this I have some body. Okay, and we can't find the data of body. By this we have to use some method. Okay, readable string, we have to use something. Okay, to find this we have to use a method that I will let you know very shortly. So this is the body use. Header we have, and we have okay. Okay means that we have got the data. Okay, and if status is 200, when we get the status 200, that means we got the data successfully. Okay, so I will let you know what is the data, and this is the URL. This is the URL. So let me just do now how to use that response. What is the response of this? How to use that? So for that, what we have to do, we have to write the JSON method. Okay, so by this method we can read this what is in the body. Okay, and now this JSON also return a promise. So if this is returning a promise, if this is the returning a promise, then what we have to do, basically if you do not understand what is this, and we can write in this way also. This is the like our function that we do here is, so you can do in such way also. Okay, but this is my arrow method, so I will prefer to do it in this way. Now this is also returning a promise, so I will use dot then, and inside that dot then I will what this result dot JSON return, it will return the data that we need. So I will say data, and what I will do, I will console it. I will simply console my data. Whatever is coming from there, I will say console it. Now let's find it. So if I write a username, that is this valid username, and if I show this, so details. So it is showing all the details of mine. If you see, this is my avatar. If I click on this, avatar, let me just copy this, and let's see what this avatar is. This is my photo. Okay. So, and this is my bio. So let me just show you my GitHub profile. So if I write github.com / my profile name, Vishal. So how my profile looks like, this is my image, this is my name, and this is my username. This is my bio, okay, and this is the number of followers and following I have, and this is some links I have, okay, and inside that, if you see, this is the repository that I have. So there are so many repository I have. So now with the help of now I am going to extract all the details into my page. Okay, so now let's see how to do that. So what I'm gonna do is, right now I'm consoling this thing. Okay, so now rather than consoling this, I will write my function here. Rather than consoling, we will do lots of things. So first of all, let's do console, and after doing console, I want to show these details in the form of a beautiful component inside my div. Okay, so let's go. So let me just write how it should look like. So inside this profile info, I will have my card. Okay, and inside that card, I will have my card image, that image that I have shown to you, and inside that image, I will have my image. Okay, and that have some source address, and now that I will have my body, not my body, my info, that information body, and in that information body, I will have that card title. And now in this card title, and after this card title, what we will have some card text, we can say. Okay, card text, and inside that text we can have our bio or something like that. So what I'm going to do is, this is my structure that I have to use this dynamically. So I can't put it here, I will put it inside here. So now what I will do is, I will see where I have to put this data inside my profile info. If you remember, so where is this profile info, I have to use that. I have to show my data inside here now. So I used to do that. What is I have to do? Profile info div is equals to document dot get element by id, and here I have to write the id name. What is the id name? Profile info. Okay, so now here what I am going to do is, I will say const profile info, and that const profile info should have something. Okay, or I can directly write something like this. I can say profile info div dot inner html. So inside this html, what you have to write, dot inner html, what you have to write is now what I'm gonna write is, I will just paste whatever I have. Okay, so this is the thing that I am gonna do here is, okay, let me just back it. Okay, for now you can format it by yourself. So now inside this, what I have to write is, I have to write the detail. So for now let me just save it, and let me just write Vishal apna username, and if I click on this show detail, you will see so many details are here. So now what I have to do is, I have to use this detail here. So how to use that, I have already tell you, like using our variables and this. So I need, this is my data object, and from this data object, what I need is, I need this avatar URL as my image. So I will say data, and rather than writing in this way, I have to use this. This is the string literal that I have explained in detail in my JavaScript file, JavaScript video, and you can check that out. And in that data, what I need is, I need that avatar URL. So I have to write avatar and URL. So what is the URL? It will sound to image here, and if this is not there, for now let me just write it, my name. Okay, so what is my name? How to find my name is avatar, bio, following, id, location. Yeah, name, it is name. So data dot name. Okay, So that now in the title, what I will write my name itself, data.name, and after this name, what I will write inside this. If I see my profile, what are the details that we have is we have our image, yeah, and inside this image, this is our subheading. Okay, so let me just write something like this, just copy paste, and I will say card title, or I can say card subheading. Okay, subheading, something like this. So now here I will write what is my login. So how to find this? This is my login. Yep, that's login. So I will say login, and after that I need to find this. This is my bio. So I will say here. If I come here, comes now. So here I will say a P. Inside this P, I need my bio. And how to find that bio is you will say data.bio. So you will find your bio, and after that this bio, I need these two numbers. So I can say let's go. What I will say is I will say P, and inside that P I need my followers. How many followers I have? I will say how to find that followers. GG, this is the followers. So I will say data. Sorry, it's write it here. I will say data dot followers, and after that, if after spacing, I will write followers, and after one more space, I will again write data dot following, and after that I will write following. Okay, let me see here. Is it following? Oh, sorry, just yeah. So basically what I have to do is that is the followers, that is the following. I guess this is the fine. So now what I am gonna do here is let me just save it. And just click on that. So now what I have done is inside my fetch, I am going to add this data inside my HTML. So let's check it out. So let me write my handle, and if I click on this detail button, so let's see what will happen. Yeah, this is done. So we will get our name, we will get our login, we will get our bio, whatever it is written, and also we get how many number of followers we have, how many number of following we have. So yeah, this is looking very good. Right, or not looking very good, but I will say yeah, this is done its work. We can design it, but for now, the second thing is remaining is how many repos I have. How to find that? So basically, if I go to I don't know like how to find that. So what I will do is I will go to this API, okay, and from there I will find all the information. If I go to this API dot, so how to find repos? There will be something like for repos also. URL user, I guess there should be something like repo, emails. Okay, there is nothing. So then there will be something like repo inside my inspect. So if I do inspect, and if I go to console, so go to this object, and you see there will be something like repo, event URL, JS URL, repo URL. So this is the repos. Okay, so from this I can find all my repos. So I will just copy this. Okay, so now after this, what I am gonna do here is let's just write a different function for repos. So I will call so repos. Okay, so repos, repo info, and I will call this function. Okay, so repo info, and inside that what I have to pass is only the username. I am passing only the username. So now basically what I have to do is, if you see, this is my fetch, and inside that fetch this is my data, and now this will do certain things. So now what I am gonna writing here is I will say so profile info, and this is my function. Basically I will say function, and this function should write something. So I will say function have my username, and then what I have to do is I have copy pasted. No, that's the thing. So what I have to do is I will say fetch, and inside that fetch I will write this. Rather than this, I will write this. So right now this Vishal Raj 1 is my username, so I have to replace this with the help of my username variable. Okay. So now from this I will get some data. So let me just console.log what is this data coming, then this data, and first of all convert this data and then console this data. Console.log what is the data that I am coding, and for that what I am gonna do is let me just remove this console. There are lots of data to form. Okay, if I am writing Vishal Rajwan and so detail, so yeah, this is done, and now there is 30. Okay, this is the number of repos that I have. This is the length 30. Okay, so basically if you see in this goes to this repos tree, there will be so many repos that I have, and some of them are the like fork ones, so I guess they are checking only mine repos, okay, which is made by me. So yeah, and if I get to any repos, so let's say if I go to this 0, so what it will give, it will give me allow forking. I have allow fork, you can archive, and there are so many things that I can get. That fork, how many fork count it have, how many has download it have. I have lots of information. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is what I'm gonna do here is I will store this data. I will store this data console.log. I will say console.log data, and now I will basically come here, and inside this I will say div dot dot project info or repos info. Okay, basically you understand the thing. Okay, so let me not save it for now, I will save it later. So now what basically I want is I will say console.log const, I need that my project repo info div. Okay, repo info div, that is my document dot get element by id, and what is the id I have given, repos info. Okay, so I will say repos info, and it will be like the thing is it should be repos. Okay, let me just make it clear everything. Let me just make it so now I hope everything is shown to you. So now what I am gonna do here is, what are the things that I want to show is, I don't want to show everything of my, because this is so much data, I don't want to show everything. What I want to show here is I can show, like I can say, yeah, first of all let me just do console that, and I will say that repos dot how to show that, yeah, I will say repos dot repo info dot inner XML plus equals to, okay, plus equals to, what is the data that I want to do. Basically if you see this is the array, so if this is the array, then I have to use the array inside this data. Okay, so I will use for let I is equals to 0, I less than my data dot length, and I plus plus. What I am gonna do here is I will say rather than this I will say L. Okay, and now I will write something. So what are the things that I want to write here? Let's say I have to write the similar way. What are the things you say? Let me just copy paste my this card. Let me just copy paste this card. Okay, so this is the thing that I don't want to show any image, because there will be no image in my project. Okay, so inside that card body I will say my name. What is the project name? How to find that project name is let me just scroll it up. Let me just show this to you as well. So what is the project name? How to find that name? My project name, that is the language that I'm using. Okay, yeah, that is the name. So I have to write data, and whatever it is, that data 0, and I have to write this. So rather than writing is data, I will say projects. Okay, I will say projects. Okay, I will say project so that it makes sense. What is this? Okay, so inside this project, this will be my project, and I will iterate all the projects. And now what I will say project and that project, ith project. For ith project, what is the name? The name will be there. Now after that, what is the language that I am using? Let me just write the language also. So let me write the language also. So here I will say project ith project dot language. After this language, what I have to write is, I have written the language. There are something that I want to write is, let's say what is the size of, forget about this star gears count. For now I can write this also. I can write check out the project. Okay, so let me write something like this. I will say there is some button, not a button exactly. I will write link. Okay, and here I will say href, and here I will say the project that, sorry, I will say project, and inside that project, ith project, you have to go to URL. Oh yeah, that's good. And what I will write it, I will write here is, I will write inside this project, I will write do checkout, and that should be inside my button. I guess that should be my button. For now I think that's fine. Let me just do this little things, and let me just do checkout project. Do checkout project, writing something like this. We will design it if times allow us, otherwise we will not writing this stuff. Okay, so for now I will say do stop this like that. I can find number of forks here. Okay, let me do it later. So for now, just save this thing, and let me write Vishal Rajwan, and let me just click on show detail and just flip this. Cannot read properties of null inner XML. So why it's saying null? Let me find this inner XML of null. Why it's null? Because it's say repos info, and it's say repo info. So let me just find why it's not showing, and let me just first of all find what is, yeah. So okay, there is no project response to us. So the reason is this is a class and I have written ID. Okay, so what I have to do is I have to make this ID. Now let's see if it works or not. I have made this ID and just click on this show detail, and it will show all the details here, but it's not showing me that. Let me just find out why. Go little and console. It says data is not defined. So where is this data? Let me just find the data at line number 19. Line number 19. Let me just remove it, man. So okay, so now let's see if everything working fine. Yeah, if you see that yeah, of course this is not looking very fine, but if I click on this project, so you get, okay, this is the URL. So rather than URL, I have to find something else. I got that thing. Let me just do a back, and rather than URL, I think it should be HTML URL if I'm not wrong, but let me just effect and find which URL is what it was. So if I write it, and the one thing that I missed to talk about is there are some limits to API. We can't do unlimited call on the API. There are certain limits. So let's see that I'm not crossing any limit. Okay. So what I have to find is what is this HTML URL? There is something like that. Okay. So the URL where it is, let me just find it here. The URL, this one is the api.github.com, but I have to find the URL with that. So let me just find this, the full name, or there will be some other URL of the project which I can find on this. So you can check it out, like what are the things we have, and depending on that things we can go. Okay, so yeah, HTML URL. So this is the use. So I have to write HTML URL. Okay, so if I write in this way, that makes sense. And similarly, I can do this, do checkout things to my what do you say, to my this also. Okay, so once you have checked my profile, do check out my profile also there. So I will say here my profile or user data. Okay, so for now I think everything is done. Let me just close this and write my data and click on this show detail. So if I click on this show detail button, and you can see I got all the data. So let me just click on this do checkout project. Rather than writing project, I have to write the profile, do checkout profile. Okay, so if you see that if I click on this do profile, so I got this, I got at this position. Okay, so now if I go to back, because I have saved that, it's again goes. Okay, so let me just again click. The last time I am clicking, okay, rest. Otherwise what will happen is the API the API limit will be gone. Yeah, this is my 30 days of code. So everything works smoothly, but the UI is very messy. So we want to improve this UI. But before that, a very important thing that I want to teach you is Async Await. How this Async Await works and how this make our code very simple. So let me just, basically Async Await is not a very big thing, but I don't know like why so many people very hesitate to learn that. So the thing is, if you see, this is the promises. Inside this promises, it return some data. Okay, it return it. But if it also return promise, then what will happen? Okay, let me just give you as an example. If I have my promise, I will go .then for it. Okay, I will do .then for it, and then inside that then again a promise will be written. Then I have to do again a then inside that promise again a then written. So this will be long chaining. Okay, inside if you see here is what happen is, this is my fetch. This fetch return a promise. Now this promise is okay. So for promises I have to use then to resolve that promise. Now this result, okay, this result called JSON is also returning a promise. For that I am using again a then to resolve that promise. Now if rather than doing this thing, if I return a new promise, okay, return new promise, making from promise, and if I remove, then what I have to do is, if I return this, in that case I have to use again a then. So this will be long chain. Okay, so for that what we can use it, instead of then and catch, the same work of then and catch we can use with the help of Async Await. Okay, this helps us to resolve our promises. So now let's understand it, how to use that. So rather than writing in this way, so I think what I'm gonna do here is, whatever I have written is in that function, let me just do comment, okay, so that I can show you the both code, then and case catch one also and Async Await also. If I write this, so you say here there are so many then. So what I am gonna do here is, before consoling that, let me just copy this. Okay, now just do this console. So now what I am gonna do here is, and let me just write it above. Now I will have this. Now rather than writing Async Await, what I have to write it, first of all we have to write async. So where we have to write the async word, the async keyword should be before our function. Okay, so here this is my function start. So before that I have to write async keyword, and async keyword let us know that this is going to return a promise. Okay, this whole function will going to return a promise. Okay, that's why we are going to use this function asynchronous programming. What is it asynchronous means? Our other function will run parallelly and this function will run asynchronous. Okay, I have already explained what is asynchronous programming in my last video, where I explained how this set interval, set timeout works. If you didn't check that out, do check that out. I have explained everything about asynchronous. Okay, so when you use this asynchronous, this function becomes asynchronous, and now this function will return a promise. Okay, so for returning that promise we will use await. So now let's see how to use that await. Rather than writing this way, we will say const result is equals to await. That means you have to wait for this. While waiting for this, you can parallelly do your work, and once this thing is done, then execute below this. Okay, now what you have to do is, I will say const data is equals to whatever is this await result.json. Okay, now what I am doing here is, let me just make it a little bigger. Okay, so if you see a little more bigger. Okay, so what you see is that result is equals to await, and whatever is returning from this, I will store it into my result. Now again, whatever is returning from this result.json method, I will wait, and then once I got this data, I will store it into my data. Okay, now I do not need this way of doing this stuff or doing this stuff. Basically what I can do here is, after doing this, I can call my function, or I can write this. Okay, so this function will execute. So rather than writing this, I will call my function, which is like show profile detail, show profile info. Okay, show profile, and I'm sending this data. Now let me just create one function. Okay, so I'm creating my function show profile. Okay, and now here I will have some data, or I will say user data. Let me write data, otherwise I have to change so many things. Okay, and now I will just paste it. Okay, so the first thing I have to do is, I have to remove this. I have to remove this as well. I have to remove this as well. Okay, so now these things work exactly same, but the thing if you see here is, this is very clean as compared to our earlier code. This is very clean. If you see here, just we are writing this 3 line. Okay, this show profile is done, and once this show profile is done, you can remove this as well from this line to make it one function do your one work. So this function will do one work, and side by side then we will call this function. Okay, and I think this function is doing literally the same work that this has to do. Let me just solve.lag. Yeah, so this is a fetch. So how to do that? Basically, how do we do that? We will go here, and let me just make a copy of this function, and here I am writing using then and catch. Okay, and here I will writing using async and await. Okay, so now I have to write this function. So for this function, I will say, first of all, I have to say is async. Okay, I am very poor in English. Okay, so now what I have to write is, I have to write this, and if you see, what is this, man? Okay, I have this data, so this is not async await, this is nothing. I think this is very simple. Not I am using any then and catch. So this is very simple function where I am passing the data. Okay, so here if you are passing the username, that's very cool. So now if I see here is, whatever is coming is, this is not fetching anything. How is this show profile work, man? Just a second. Okay, I got it. So this is the show profile. This is work very clearly. What I have to do is, I have to copy paste this. Just a second. I will just copy it, and now I have to create this wrapper function. Okay, for wrapper function, and let me just do comment, and just do comment, uncomment, I mean. So let me do uncomment. Okay, so now for this show function also, I am using this fetch and this. So first of all, I have to write async, whatever the spelling is. Sometimes I forget the spelling also. I am so poor, man. Now I have written this async, and now I have to use this fetch. Inside that fetch, what I am going to use is, I will say const my result is await, and here whatever comes, I will write I will write const data is equals to await result.json. Okay, so this method is called, and once this method is called, this is done, to be very honest. Now I will say this data is done. Now for this data, this will be my function that I am creating. Okay, so yeah, this is that I have to do is, so basically rather than doing, I can say in this way. Okay, I do not have to create anything, I will just say this. Okay, I think this works. Is anything okay? There is one mistake, I have to write this. Okay, so now everything works. So rather than writing this, I will write project. Okay, and this is working super fine. So if you see, this is very clean. There is no nesting and nothing else. You just is finding your result from project, and once you find the project, and you will just do this thing. Similarly, for show profile, okay, on show profile, what you are doing is you are just clearing this, and after finding this, you are just clearing this. So these are very, before we are not using any nested and very clear. So that's why we use async await now. So if I write this my handle, and if I click on this, so you will get all the data. Okay, so I hope this whole video is helpful for you, and you are able to understand how these promises work, how to resolve promises, what is this fetch API. There are so many methods we can do with the fetch. Today we learn only about the get method. This is the get method, from where we just get the data from server. There are so many methods we have. We can post, we can put and delete. We will learn about this also, but generally the most of the fetch API is used for the get and post. So in the next project we are going to learn about the post also. So now what we can do from here is, so I think we can this designing part you can do it by your own. I have already teach you how to create so many good design, so you can do it design part by yourself. And if you make this complete project, do not forget to share it with me. You can share it with me on LinkedIn, Twitter. You can join our own community. We have created our own community, and you can join there. If I write community dot virtual dot app, just wait for a second. So this is our community. So you can click on this join community button, and you can join our Discord community, where you can interact with me. And if you want to learn that how to create such profile, how to create such website, so I am going to launch our React mastery course, where I will teach everything about how to master React, how to make website, how to do freelancing through React, and how to get your first job as a React developer or a front-end developer. So if you want to check all of these videos, so do subscribe to my channel and share it with your friend and help everyone. And do not forget to join this community. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.